Hi, hello everyone. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to Healing Journeys. So, I'm Christelle Achia. On this channel, I share content related to indigenous knowledge systems, more specifically African knowledge systems. Today, this is another episode of Words Matter. Before going there, first, I'm preparing the coming videos, especially those of the coming year. So, if you have topics, questions that you would like me to investigate, to answer, to research on, please feel free to let me know. You can write them down here in the comment section. And I'm also trying to figure out a way that you can send them to me in a more private and anonymous way because maybe you don't want to write your questions or I do not concern here in the comment section. So just please give me some time about that and I will come back to you with something prepared, right? But already you can leave your comments, questions, ideas maybe, or maybe there was a video that you liked and you want me to go further on that topic or to explain something deeper that you have heard me talked about in a previous video, just let me know, please, in the comment section, right? Don't hesitate to let me know. It can be about anything. And well, of course, I won't be able to to cover all the topics, uh, but I will first, let's say, focus on those that come more often, like the most frequently asked questions in research and so on. And for the other ones, well, I will find a way. We will find a way to explore that together. Basically, I'm working on developing more content, not only videos, but also other formats and even formats where we can exchange, like live formats. So many things will be coming about that in the coming days and weeks. So please stay tuned. You can subscribe to the channel if you want further information about that. So that was the first point, right? The second point, so it's about this video, so words matter. Um, it may be a triggering videos or the video may awaken some discomfort, some thoughts, ideas, stories that you don't necessarily want to deal with or be, let's say, surrounded by. So I invite you before watching this video to take some time to check with you if you like how you feel. And well, I will also allow some space like throughout the videos, like having small breaks, like to allow space and time so you can check in with yourself if you want to continue on with the video, if you want to pause and come back to it later. And I'm sure you're wondering, okay, what is she going to talk about today? Well, I'm going to talk about difficult experiences, uh, unprocessed pain, or also known as traumatic experiences. Not in details, but I would like to focus on those words, like the ones that I've been mentioning. So here is already a first break. You can decide to continue on directly today or maybe to pause and come back to it later, right? Okay, let's go on. So in Words Matters, today I would like to focus on trauma, or as I'd rather call them, unprocessed pains or unprocessed experiences. Um, just to be clear, I'm not diminishing or denying or even, I don't know, like trying to make it less what it is. I am perfectly aware that like traumatic experiences do exist, and the idea of this video, the purpose of the video, is not to negate them, to like diminish them, to belittle them. They are what they are, and I think it's important to acknowledge them. Like, not only the person that unfortunately had to face them, to deal with them, but also us, like the community, the people surrounding that person. The purpose of the video is to look at the impact of the words that we use. This is what we do in this series of videos of Words Matter. To look at how the word that we use to define what happened to us, our experiences, or even sometimes ourselves, how those words or expressions can affect us on a psychological level, emotional level, energetical level, and even spiritual level. And of course, also physical level, obviously. So that's the purpose of the video. It is not to deny like any kind of a traumatic experience that happened. It's just to look at how we can speak of them, we can speak of that in a way that enables us to recover, to process the pain, to process the experience, and like heal or be in a more harmonious, balanced way within ourselves, with ourselves, and move on. Because I believe and I think that what we want when we have faced like difficult experiences, traumatic experiences, is to move on. We want to move on, and we all have different ways of dealing with it, coping mechanisms, strategies to release the pain, to deal with the experiences, to be able to move on. And with this video, I want to offer some support, especially with the vocabulary, the word that we use, so that we can move from survival to enjoying life. That's really important, because one of the most, I would say, most important like damages of a traumatic experience is that it 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 pushes us to be like in a survival mode, in like closed patterns, and we want to move from that cycles those cycles, sorry, those patterns, this survival mode, to a more pleasant, joyful life, a life where we can just we feel like the flow of life. This is what I feel when I speak about of that. And so I think it is really important to learn, to acknowledge the fact that we have different possibilities to express what happened to us, to talk about traumatic experiences, traumas, and process pain. That's why I'm also using those different words and expressions to like share some ideas. So it's like something that we can get used to it. So it takes some time, of course, but the sooner we start, the more like the sooner we will see some results, right? So the idea to also have in mind is that our brain doesn't like make necessarily the difference between like when we are like in those close patterns, our brain is not, at that moment, our brain is not capable of like distinguishing that it happened in the past. And what we want to learn, to be unstuck from those patterns, to be unstuck from those unprocessed pain, unprocessed experiences, difficult experiences, traumatic experiences, traumas, is to learn to have them in the past, not to erase them, um, not to forget, because it's not how it works. We will still have the memory, but to be able to live with them as events, experiences that happened in the past, experiences that, yes, were extremely intense, difficult. I mean, you can name it, right? Tough, like unbelievable. Um, I mean, you can choose the word that you prefer, but it is very important that we manage to reach this point when we can leave them in the past, to be in the present and look at the future. So this is a real encouragement with this video to start using other words when if you have been like unfortunately um, like affected by traumatic experiences, difficult experiences, learn to use other words, not again, not to erase what happened, not to belittle it, not to negate it, and absolutely not as an excuse for the abusers. This is absolutely not an excuse for the people, the person that committed the abuse. I repeat again, it is not an excuse for the abusers. Absolutely not. It is it is not even about them. It's not even about them. It's just about you and how you can heal. The focus is on you, the survivor. So I'm having a small break here. I hope everything is fine. Um, I know that what I've already said might be already a lot intense. So let's continue. By training ourselves to use other words, we are already operating some healing because we are introducing new vocabulary to those experiences, to those events that are registered in our brain, in our system. And when I say brain, actually, I'm a bit, let's say, I'm like forgetting a very important part, which is that it's not only registered in our brain, it's registered more generally in our nervous system, and even to be more specific, in our body, not only our nervous system, but even our hormonal system, our blood system, like our muscles, of course, right? So in all of our being, and this is only like the physical level, like the material level, like with the brain we look at, of course, the mental, psychological level. With the body we look at like the material, the physical level, but of course it affects our emotional body, our energetical body, and our spiritual body. And what we want to engage in a full healing of our body on all levels. And so introducing new vocabulary also supports like the healing on all those levels. It helps associate like, yeah, it helps to associate, sorry, like the event that happened, the unprocessed pain, the unprocessed event, to other words than just traumatic. And it also helps us introduce ourselves or share our stories if we want, if we can, if we feel ready for that, with other words. So that also when we share our stories, people can understand it differently, especially nowadays. We hear, we read very often about trauma, traumatic experiences, and so on. And I think it's also important to start using maybe some more precise vocabulary. And when you say that, okay, this it was, for instance, unprocessed pain or unprocessed experience, you are also talking about, well, the process, that it's a process. It's not only like one thing. That's also something that is connected to trauma, because unfortunately, when like a traumatic experience hasn't been or is not under a process of healing, of bringing this event in a more balanced way, the effects are still like active, let's say, in the present. And this is what we want to stop, reduce, avoid. I hope it's okay till here. Let's have a second break here. So I'm going to close this video soon. Just before that, I also would like to highlight that you want to gather all the support and all the healing possibility that you can have to support you, because it's already very difficult. So if you can benefit from various modalities to support you in your harmony balance process, well, why not, right? And learning to use like other vocabulary, it's one of these modalities, and it's a modality that you can use at any time, that it's for free because it's yours, and you can use it out loud when you speak to yourself, so internally, when you write, for instance. And it's also something that you can use at any time. So it's not like visiting a therapist or even watching a video, or I don't know, having an appointment with a healer, or going to I don't know, like doing some osteopathy or any kind of those things. You don't need anyone else to do that. You can do that yourself at any time and for free. So why not using it? And of course, in African systems, in African knowledge systems, sorry, in African medicine or African medicinal systems, we do have modalities to support, to accompany, to help, like the process of those like experiences. So I will certainly do more videos and content about that. Yes, and if you have questions about that, you can also let them in the description, and I will find ways to answer them. At least I'm trying to do my best to answer them. So this is it with this video. The main point, sorry, is like to have in mind that the words that we use are very important. As we say, we shape our own reality. So the words that we use are powerful tools to shape this reality. And so it's an invitation to slowly shift from using words such as trauma, traumatic experience, or even the sentence I am traumatized or I have been traumatized. Even like, let's say, a slightly variant could be I have experienced traumatic event. It's already different from I am. You know, when you're saying I am, you're like defining your being. And when you say you, when you speak of an experience, when you say I had or I have, it's already like you're already like putting some distance between um, what is happening right now and who you are, because you are not your trauma. Definitely not. You are not your trauma. And again, using other words, other expressions, it's not to negate, to belittle, to diminish what happened to you. And it's absolutely not an excuse for the abusers. Absolutely not. We do not focus on them. We focus on you, the survivor. I hope this video is going to be helpful. And I wish you well. Let's take care of ourselves and of each other. See you soon.